I am. We're going to call this meeting of the Sustainability Advisory Board to order. It's Monday, April 7th, and we've completed our workshop, so we'll move on to the call of order that I just did, and then the roll call. Brandon, can you please do that?
I can. Okay. Margie Davy.
I'm here.
Lisa Marone. Or Moore, sorry.
More now. I'm here.
Sorry about that.
It's all good.
More not
Jacob
less.
Claymeyer.
Yeah.
Here. Alyssa Renke.
Here.
Vic Oliver. Brad Spamower.
Present.
Joel Stevenson.
Here.
Jaden Zern.
Here.
Paul Trutter.
Here.
Thank you.
Close enough.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 present.
Good.
Great, we have quorum. Approval of minutes from the March 3rd meeting. Do anybody care to make a motion?
Do we want to do public comment first?
Public comment first.
Oh, yeah, there is a public comment up there. Is there anybody here who would like to say anything?
Do you want to say anything?
Public
No?
comment?
Public comment.
You can. This would be a good time to do it.
Okay. I'm Kimberly Garrock. I'm the new planning services manager. So I just wanted to come and say hello to everybody and attend the meeting.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Okay, now can we approve the minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Motion?
I'll motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor of approving the minutes as written, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Sustainable activities and events.
Yeah, this is one of the items that I requested to be on the agenda, just so we have some time to share upcoming events or how past events went in our community as it relates to sustainability. So I have a quick list I can share, and then I would welcome you all to maybe contribute if I missed anything or things you know about going on. I know in the last month I attended like a free school at UWO that was an opportunity for folks to learn things for free, as well as an open charter for different instructors to teach what they'd like. So great way for our community to learn together, which is sustainable. Also, the Oshkosh Seed Savers hosted a seed swap where people were provided free seeds to start the growing season. And we're trying to build a community that collects seeds and perpetuates local varieties in our area. They also had a soil blocking party that helped us plant those seeds for our gardens here in the spring. Plants aren't going in the ground quite yet, but yeah. Let's see. April 10th, there's Bridging Past and Present. It's an excellent series put on by the museum going on right now. This one is the Tightrope Cultural Appropriation versus Appreciation with Karen Ann Hoffman at 7 to 9 p.m. at the Lakeshore Building. There's also the Oshkosh Art Collective show. It's the 4th annual that happens 6 to 10 p.m. at the Gibson Social Club on April 12th. This is a group of independent artists that are in our community displaying their art. Adds to the vibrancy of our community. There's a Winnebago bicycle beginner bikepacking event on April 12th, leaving the bike shop, so you can look at their information for more about that. A little bit of alternative transportation there. Earth Day is April 22nd, so find a good way to appreciate Earth and perhaps participate in some conservation efforts during that day, as was the original spirit of the event way back when it started. There's also a lecture by Brad that I have listed. I don't know if you want to say anything about the event. It's on April 23rd at 5:30 at the university.
Sure. It's part of the what's called the Colligan Lecture Series. It's for a student who passed away, and they do a lecture every year about public involvement, not necessarily political engagement, but like public engagement and public involvement. And yeah, I was asked to speak and talk about my work in sustainability and being involved with public service.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome.
There's also the Urban Ecology Oshkosh BioBlitz and Foraging happening April 26th at the County Park Beach Building from 1 to 4 p.m. It's It's like that little building. It's in the county park next to the beach. BioBlitz is like where you go out and survey things as community science to survey the local biodiversity. There's also a repair cafe event on April 27th at the YMCA. It's at the downtown Y. It's 1 to 4 p.m. where folks can bring their items that need repair, from like clothing to appliances to bikes, all sorts of things. And the volunteers there will be happy to help you learn how to fix it, but also fix it if they can. Oshkosh Bird Fest is May 3rd at the Lakeshore Building. That starts fairly early in the morning.
It's not at the Lakeshore Building
Oh,
this
it's not?
year.
It's not? Okay.
It's moved back to Menominee Park.
Okay.
That didn't get updated, I guess, yet.
That's my bad. But yeah, that starts pretty early. Fairly fun. Lots of birds, lots of organizations there.
You'll notice that bird people tend to be morning people.
Yeah. So are the birds, so that's fair.
I can confirm.
Yeah. And then there's also the Fox River Watershed Alliance cleanup on May 3rd as well.
What
So-
about owl enthusiasts?
Owls are birds.
Those are more nocturnal, I think.
Yes. This year, actually, Birdfest will be pared down a little bit from previous years, and you said it runs from 6 to noon, right? I wasn't paying attention.
I just said it was in the morning. I didn't
It
have
is
the
in the
exact
morning.
time.
It
Yeah.
starts with a big sit at 6 o'clock at Menominee Park
Mhm.
and continues from there up until about noon.
Are you on the planning for that?
Yes.
Okay.
That's all of the events that are on my calendar. Anybody else have
Yeah.
any to add?
That was nice, Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Did we get the one on April 10th? Are
Yep.
you going to be at that one, Alyssa?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's at Coghlan Center?
I think it's at the Lakeshore Building. It's the Bridging Past and Present series. Is
Okay,
that-
there's
Oh,
two things
April.
going
I
on
thought you
that
said
night then,
May.
never
So
mind.
what was the other one?
I'm trying to remember what it's called. I think it's got more to do with public health, and it's a whole week, actually, at Coghlan Center. They're having, it's through the Extension Department. And I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were doing that, and I did not come prepared with my little flyer, or my Birdfest flyer, or anything.
I didn't either.
Okay, well, between us, we're good.
You can tell us how it went next week or next month.
Well, I will just say, I know it starts at 5:30 at the Coghlan Center on, I think, every night next week, or this week. Wait, oh my, it's this Thursday. I'll be there at 5:30 until 8:30 on Thursday night.
I think it's Public Health Week.
Yes.
I think I saw that
And they are
advertised.
doing, yeah, and I'm sure it's online, because somebody would have thought to do that.
I'll just add, I know there's probably multiple private or community entities that are, we see a lot of the e-waste sort of amnesty days popping up right now, but I know that Fox Valley Technical College in Appleton is hosting one on Thursday, May 1st from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And there's information on their website, but these are often times where you can recycle your electronics for free or for minimal cost if you're looking to recycle those things. So
Can I do a mini promo for the cleanup? So the Fox Wolf Watershed annual cleanup is May 3rd, as mentioned. I believe it's like 10 to noon is the cleanup, and then we have over 70 locations all the way from Fond du Lac around Lake Winnebago and past Green Bay. So there's plenty of options. And I'll touch base with you about Birdfest and having some extra supplies there, because Menominee is a location as well. But then after the cleanup portion, there's also a free picnic for volunteers up in Appleton at Tallulah Park, where there will be a plethora of hot dogs and other snacks. We got a hot dog sponsor this year, so
Awesome.
yeah.
Nice. Okay. So you're just looking until the next meeting?
Yeah.
So the couple of things I had in mind, well, what I had in mind was the Oshkosh slow rolls, but looks like they start in May, and then also the Bike Osh. I'm a big bicycling enthusiast, so an alternate transportation that way. So
Yeah,
just-
Bike Gosh is May 17th, I think.
I believe you're right.
That's
Just
Saturday.
looking at it, it's a Saturday, yes. And then the first Bike Gosh, slow roll is May 20th at Beckett's.
Great.
Wow, there's so much happening in our community.
There is.
Isn't it amazing?
It is.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay, well then let's move on to chapter 26, trees and vegetation rewrite update.
Sure. I think this is one of our items from staff. So I have here that the Parks Department has been awarded an urban forestry grant to conduct 2 plans, one being a strategic plan and another being a management plan. And in their request for a proposal, they did include some language for this funding to assist with the Chapter 26 rewrite that they're planning, and for tree protection zones to be looked at as part of that. So also beyond the tree protection zones, but also to just like look at the department's maintenance practices overall. So it's good news. There's another note here that once these ordinances do get redone, just for you guys all to be aware that the draft and the final copies will go to the Parks Board and to this board, but ultimately the Parks Board will have the final recommendation and approval for those plans. So still in the very early stages, but all good news, and Parks will keep us updated as that all progresses.
So it goes to, so Parks Board has, is closer related to this and sustainability, but then does it also go to the Plan Commission? Or the Common Council, or?
Well, it'll have to go to the Common Council because it's municipal code, I believe. We'll have to get approval from Common Council. But I don't know if
You
it'll
don't
go to
know
the
if
Plan
Plan Commission sees it? Okay,
Yeah, I mean,
thanks.
you would think being a strategic plan, it's possible. I don't know if it will or not though.
And what's the purview of the plan? It's just. It's
My
coming up
notes
with
say-
how we're maintaining trees or how we're planting
So
all the
there's,
above.
they got awarded funding to do 2 different plans, one being a strategic plan and one being a management plan.
Okay.
And so I think in the management plan, that'll kind of look at their overall maintenance practices
Sure.
and hopefully, maybe do some changes that will be better.
Okay. And the strategic plan, is it a strategic plan for like the Parks Department?
I think
or is
so.
It, okay.
Yep. Yeah, because obviously
So
we already
it's more
we have a
like-
different strategic
Yeah,
plan, so
yeah.
this one would be, I think, particular to the Parks
Okay.
Department.
So it's like the Parks organizational plan.
I think so.
Parks Department is working on,
Sure.
have been for a while.
So that's the only updates that I have from staff. So they are actively working on it, and it looks like they applied for a grant and got some funding to help, so.
That's
So,
great. That's
yeah.
great news that they're gonna, have the time and funding to look into this further. I am somewhat concerned that I feel like the Oshkosh Sustainability Advisory Board here has recommended some changes. Very, it was like that red line that we had provided, and we had been waiting for feedback for a couple months now
Right.
on the city department's views on how that could be implemented or any impacts that it could have to city operations, because we of course want to consider those things when we're making these changes. Is there any additional feedback that we got from them that would allow us to move forward with any of those changes?
So the initial feedback was give them until end of Q1, which would have been March 31st. And so the update that we got from them at the end of Q1 was that information that in that 3-month period, they were awarded a grant and that this is their plan moving forward, and that they included the rewrite need of that Chapter 26 in that in one of those plans that will happen, or whatever consultant they end up hiring. It was part of their request for proposal to have that included as part of the project, part of the scope of the project.
So basically, our work got passed on to another committee, or?
No, I wouldn't say
Entity.
another committee, but I feel like the staff probably saw a greater need, right? Like they probably looked at this red line and thought, well, there's more that needs to be done beyond this, right? And so that's why and then maybe there was some funding available that they thought they could get, so.
So it's been included in the plans to draft new plans.
It's part of the scope of work that needs to be done.
Right.
Yep.
And I guess I'm okay with the thought process of it. If it's like, I think make very clear that this board, I think, is pretty much approved it, right? We haven't so much as gone through a formal vote, but I think the changes that we looked at,
Yeah.
I'd like to make sure we reiterate that this board wants those changes. If those changes get enhanced, or there's
Sure.
just put into the parks, I guess, day to day a little bit better, I think that's a good thing. But I think maybe, Jacob, to your point, you don't want to see those go away, right? That's the worry.
Right.
And also, delayed, yeah, potentially, yeah.
Well, there's definitely gonna be a delay, right? I mean, these plans will have to be created, so.
And do you know timeline wise on?
I don't, my notes just says that this is the very early stages of that whole process.
Okay.
So the big update is that they were awarded this funding
Okay.
and that their RFQ has been sent out.
Oh, the RFQ did go out?
Yeah.
Okay. So they're actively looking for someone to do the work right now?
Yeah, it says in their RFQ for this, they included language, so I take that as that's happened.
Sure. And maybe this board just wants to keep like appraised of that information if that's,
Yep,
so we
the
can
Parks
keep
Department
it.
is aware that, this board is, eager to know the updates of that.
There you go.
Eager, that's a good word.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, any further discussion on that?
Well, I was just gonna ask a quick question. Does the city or the Parks Department, the reforestation, all that, do they do their own, any of their own propagation of plants and seeds and that, grow their own plants, or they just buy it all?
I don't believe we have a greenhouse.
Okay.
That answers your question.
Okay. I had another quick question, and maybe more clerical around the point of like the Parks Department, the Plan Commission, us being considered. Is there anything stopping the Sustainability Advisory Board from also recommending a particular version of that chapter? You said that it's going to be up to the Parks Board at the end of the day to recommend approval to council.
Mhm.
Can the Sustainability Advisory Board also make comment to council about that in somewhat formal capacity?
I think that it'll go to the Parks Board and it will also come to SAB. You may agree, and that would be the perfect scenario.
Mhm.
If you disagree, maybe they hear it again after you guys have comments, or it depends on where it lines up with the meeting schedules, right? You may see it first, they may see it first. So there might be opportunity for back and forth between the two boards before it goes to council. But I would hope that the two boards could come to an agreement.
I would hope so too, and I think that's what we should definitely work towards, but the wording that you used was having the final say. The Parks Board would have the final say. So
Correct.
how are we going to mitigate those potential disagreements that's not the word.
Disagreements, yeah.
Disagreements, yeah.
We'll have to cross that bridge when we get there, but ultimately, I think the two entities will hopefully come to a reasonable conclusion.
Fair enough, okay.
and if, ideally, I hope
Yeah.
they come together. I think, I'm not gonna put words in your mouth, but the plan physically has to be approved by them. It's their plan.
Right.
But an ordinance, at any moment, you could make a motion right now that says you want to recommend to council. And it could go to a recommendation to council. So hypothetically, you could those could be separate. I think ideally you want them to be together. I think it's a stronger package if
Right.
Parks
And SAB is
and
both
SAB
recommending approval.
go on together.
Right.
But to your point, I think if SAB or if Parks completely shoots it down, that's what this committee is for. You can still promote things to the council for recommendation as well.
Okay, that helps, thank you.
If only we had some council members to talk to.
In application.
Okay,
For the plan.
I'm gonna pull up the other agenda item here. We're moving on, I'm assuming, yeah?
sure.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes.
Official resolution.
This
Brandon.
is same old. So every year we do this, right, to recommend that council designate World Migratory Bird Day as a certain day in Oshkosh. So that is what this resolution says.
Usually recommended for the first weekend in May.
Correct. So hopefully you all had a opportunity to read this over.
Yep.
And it says while it's officially held on each year on the second Saturday is observed, so a single day in the planners purchase schedule on the best day. So they do it on
We try
whatever.
for the first.
Yeah. So this is an action item, so you guys will have to vote on it.
Okay. Well, I'll make a motion that we approve this declaration by the city.
Sounds good. Everybody read it?
Is there a second?
Yeah,
We need a second.
Oh, second.
Thank you.
thank you. Do you need a
All
vote?
in favor?
Aye.
All not in favor?
Anyone?
All opposed, that's right. It's been a while since I've been up here. Bear with me. All right, so moving on.
And as usual, you worked with the bird.
Yeah. Yeah, we
people.
got the, yeah, that's a good point to bring up. So every year we have to apply to be part of Bird City. So yeah, I worked with a couple of individuals that are with the Audubon Society, and we got the application filled out and we paid the fee, and we are, hopefully everything's good to go. We'll get our designation again, and
And having Birdfest fulfills the obligation to
That's
remain
part of
a
one of the
bird city,
requirements, yep.
so.
My dad is ironically a bird person. He'll like be sitting somewhere and be like, "What's that bird?" And I'm like, "I don't know, Dad. I don't know the calls. You do."
he just wants to tell you what it is.
Yes, he just wants to tell me. So I have to approve this.
There you go.
Okay, well, having approved our Migratory Bird Day, let's move on to our Summer Farmers Market. I think we agreed last time that we all wanted to participate, but we needed dates. I'm not looking at you, Alyssa.
You
Don't-
were, you were
don't
looking
look-
directly at me and I was
Okay,
not here.
you're across from me, okay? We, basically, I was hoping that we could, I have not yet applied for it, or Emma has not yet applied for it. I think Emma maybe will take care of it this year, but we need to choose 3 days, well, 2 days, for sure, if we want to do this, that we think that we would be able to staff it, okay? And it is good, it does take 3 or 4 people to staff it, although we have all the equipment and everything here. So, are there any Saturdays in June, July, August, September, or October that you would particularly like us to try for? And now we can ask for a date, but we can't always be sure we're gonna get it, so we can also give us an alternate date. My personal recommendation would be that we don't do it the weekend that July 4th is around, or that Dragon Boat races, are we having those this year?
Yeah, September 13th.
So September 13th would not be a good, the second Saturday in,
I'll be
Or
gone
EAA
anyway, so it
week.
don't matter.
or EAA, or Labor Day.
Yeah.
So, other than that, are there dates that people are interested in or definitely not able to?
Here's a calendar, just so you guys
Main
wanna-
week I wouldn't be interested, it would be EAA, so
Yeah,
other than I'm looking at my calendar, it's,
You said 2 dates, maybe one at the beginning,
I'm
one at the
traveling.
end. Does that sound about right for folks? Does it start, it starts in June?
it
Yeah.
does start
Yeah.
in June. We have found that often June is a little brisk yet,
Mhm.
for people who are out there, but
and
For
probably not
me,
the
it'd
highest
have to
attended.
be August,
Yeah, there's not a ton
September,
of produce.
so I'm likely I'll be
Probably
able to do it June or
ideal.
July.
I would make myself available for any Saturday in June.
any Saturday in June?
Any Saturday.
Thank you.
I could send everybody on the board, because not
Do you wanna
everybody's
do
here.
like a doodle?
Yeah, we could do a doodle poll, and everybody could enter that, and then I could share the results, and then maybe that would help this conversation.
Yeah.
Because we still have time, so
Right.
why don't we do that in between now and the next meeting? We'll send a doodle poll, and then we can talk about this again at the next meeting with those results. That will help this conversation, maybe?
I like it.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I would, if you put the doodle form a little earlier, it might be wise to at least see which dates look the most promising, because we are counted as a nonprofit, I believe, with the market.
Okay.
They get snapped up. And
Okay.
so the sooner we can, I don't want to wait a whole nother month to submit the form, is what I'm saying.
That's fine. I'll
But
do
if
the
you
doodle
did it-
poll and send it, I can send it BCC to everybody, and you can reply to me only,
Only to
and through that mechanism, we can figure out a day.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you. Doodle form, Brandon.
Because it would be difficult, I think, to everybody look at their schedules right now and figure that out.
Yeah.
It appeared to be, yeah.
But
Okay.
I don't have any conflicts on
Sustainability-related
Saturdays, so
plans. What's that on there for? What's that mean?
Oh, let me look at my notes.
Sustainability-related plans update.
Okay, sustainability-related plans I have, these are the city, the stuff that we've been going through. So we just had, the workshop for the sustainability plan update. So you guys are all aware that that's obviously moving along as they showed. meeting with stakeholders, doing these public engagement periods. We meet with them, I think, every other week. We have a scheduled like 9 a.m. meeting that we go through and talk about the different things that are needed to keep things moving along. We did the, how do I say this? So they met with, Graf met with the department heads and the division managers on a certain week in March, and then like a week later we did the staff sustainability training. So it was kind of like,
That was fortuitous.
yeah, or was it vice versa? Training and then
My meeting was before the training.
your meeting was before the training. Okay. So at the end of each of those meetings, or sorry, at the end of each of those training sessions, I got up and gave like a small spiel asking if anybody that was in the room would be willing to participate in a staff
Green team?
green team or sustainability team. And I got like, out of all the sessions we had, I got 10 people to sign up.
Wonderful.
So that's kind of on the back burner, like that'll happen, but there's just too many things happening right now for me to pay any attention to that. So eventually I'll send an email out, we'll get a committee formed internally, and that'll help,
You've laid the groundwork.
I've laid the groundwork. It'll help drive things internally. And then the other plan that's still happening is the comprehensive energy plan. So just met with that consultant 2 weeks ago. We met with WPS. He wanted some data provided in a different way, like, not to get into the weeds, but like we had gotten data already. He kind of asked for it a different way. They just provided that today. So that's good. Things are just kind of moving along with, the comprehensive energy plan. Again, for all of you, that is just a plan that we're looking at all of the city-owned buildings, energy usage, gas and electric, and forming a plan around that to help us understand where we're spending too much money on energy and what buildings are, eligible for some retrofits to help with our energy usage and costs.
When you say he requested data differently, are you talking about the consultant?
Consultant, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, sorry.
got it.
And when you said, when you were talking about the training, did all departments at least have one participant there? I'm not asking you to out
staff,
anybody.
Everybody.
Oh,
So and then
Full
it got
staff?
and then it got everybody. All
Nice.
600 and something employees.
well, that's just
That's a win.
awesome.
Yeah, and then it got recorded. So like if you're a police officer or a firefighter and you didn't get the opportunity to attend in person, it's recorded so they could watch it later.
Will that recording be shared to new hires?
I don't know if it's going to be part of the onboarding process, but that was the intent of recording it. I believe it was part of the intent. So good question for me to follow up with HR and ask them. Thank you.
And would those training recordings be something that would be appropriate to ask Oshkosh Media to use as filler for the community? Or is it
Filler where?
when a show doesn't run say our meeting doesn't run as long as they had?
Mhm.
Or is it not appropriate?
No, it was kind of. I mean, it was.
Is it
geared,
too specific?
It was geared kind of specifically for staff. Like, how could
Okay.
you, what could you do at your workspace to do a better job with sustainability? And like I said earlier,
More interactive.
Yeah, it was super interactive. Like,
That's
we
a
did
good thing
we did
too,
a lot
okay.
a lot of questions and scenarios and back and forth between staff and the consultant. That
Can you share who the consultant was that
I
hosted the training?
He
I
could if he
would
could
if I could remember the name of them, sure, but I don't know if.
I-
Yeah, I mean it's open. I mean that would be something I can get you if you're interested.
Yeah. Now to be a negative Nancy.
Yeah.
But
No, just in regards to the GRAFE meeting we just had,
Mhm.
while I will be filling out the survey at the end, I don't feel like it was enough time
time.
to actually give them feedback.
Sure.
I mean, it's great to have the interactive format that we utilized with them, but I feel like a lot of it was like single words or small phrases that could be taken a lot of different ways. That maybe need a little bit more detailed response to, whether that's in person or writing. I just prefer, if we're going to have that in-person engagement, to be able to explain a little bit more. For example, we saw a lot of like public education and engagement on there, but we didn't get to really go into it a little bit on in what capacity and levels is that important for sustainability in our community.
Is the consensus of the group that same sentiment, that you would prefer to have more time with them again, maybe?
Yeah.
I
Another
would-
visit,
Yeah. I think so.
And
I think possible.
if we do it again, should we be requesting more time?
Well, or just like a discussion. I feel like
Just a
Mentimeter was
discussion?
cool, whatever, but it needs to be like an open dialogue.
Okay. Good to know.
And I'm also curious if when they are having the public input sessions,
Can you come?
well, can it be noticed so that if
Yeah.
many of us choose to come, it won't be a problem?
I think
Which
that's
would
fine.
also remind us that it was happening and tell us where.
I think that's a fine thing to do.
Yeah, we can notice it that way.
I mean, you're residents, so a public meeting, if we knew that more than two of you were gonna come, we would obviously want to notice it, so I think,
What I'm saying is if we do notice it, it also makes us aware of when they are and we don't have to coordinate if two of us are coming.
oh yeah, sure,
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Just trying to make your life
Yep,
harder
I
and
hear
mine
you.
easier.
Talk about restrictions.
But again, what I'm hearing though is that, it would be preferable to have SAB meeting it would be a public meeting, again, it'd probably be virtual. So like if anybody wanted to jump onto that link, they could. But the consensus is that you'd want to do that outside of a normal public meeting. I'm gonna call it I don't know how to say it.
We could have our own private public meeting.
Is that's kind of like similar to what we did tonight?
Sustainability
Like today,
board.
yes.
Special meeting.
Special
Okay.
meeting. Yeah.
If you all feel like you could be available, right? Because I mean, the way we did it tonight made sense before the meeting. Hopefully, we can still get out of here at a relatively normal time instead of doing it at the end. We thought so it was nice that everybody was available at 5, or the majority of you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But if we did longer, that would be like starting at 4 or 4:30 or.
Are they planning any more in-person meetings?
I believe so. Those public engagement meetings will be in person.
So when they're here for that, would it maybe be possible for us to meet somewhere around that if they're here anyway?
Potentially, yeah. Like we haven't figured that date and time
You
and
don't
stuff
have
out
it
yet.
scheduled yet.
That
Right,
would be,
but that's
that
an
would be
idea.
something we'd like to maybe consider.
Okay, I think that's a good idea.
Is that where you were going?
I think
Yeah.
one lives in Chicago, so like if
Yep.
that person can't come, maybe it's better virtual to have both of them. But if both of them can be here, or the range of the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's built into the
Contract.
contract
Okay.
that there is a certain amount of meetings that have to be held. So I believe we have them for one more in-person meeting, or maybe 2. I can't recall exactly, but so far they've only done one. We scheduled it all for one day. We put it out to council members and all those department heads, and we got them. They were here till 6 o'clock at night, from 8 in the morning till 6 o'clock at night. We chunked
Covered
it all,
everything.
covered as many people as possible in that one day to maximize their time here.
Yes,
So,
excellent.
we can.
It's more sustainable that way too.
That's what we were thinking. That's what we were thinking.
And they are doing public input sessions, right?
Yes,
They're
just not scheduled.
Okay, if you guys want your own meeting, I think that's perfectly fine.
Right.
But I do this kind of visioning consulting style work for a
Right.
living. Having board members show up to those is super advantageous. I don't know if you want to do it in lieu of having like your own personal meeting, but showing up to those like public input sessions, you'll probably get put into like a group and be able to like
Drive the conversation.
succinctly, talk about like sustainability because you guys have background in that.
Well, and I think the advantage of going to a public input meeting is that we hear from the community where
Yep.
we don't usually tend to, so
And they actually- they know
it's
that
good
we
for
really
us.
exist.
I would say we should do both.
Yes,
if
as much as we
possible.
can.
But-
I mean, there's a little bit more. We have more availability if we're going to do a special meeting to make sure it fits our schedule, so that we can provide that input. Where if depending on when the public ones.
Well, that would be like if they come for one day, we would do one, say, in whatever, mid-afternoon, and then one in the evening. Like there'd be 2 sessions on one day, again, to maximize their time here.
Okay.
To the degree that we can do it, I think we should.
Right.
And then just in addition of, does everybody think if we were to have an additional meeting with them, like as SAB and publicly available as well, is an hour gonna work? Or I know it makes it more complicated potentially adding it before or after a meeting or whenever we're planning it, but based off of how quickly that hour
Right.
went today, I don't think an hour is long enough.
Well, if they're here in person, we're going to avoid the tech issues, which
Right.
we had at the beginning. So that's going to not eat up 20 minutes.
Mhm.
So I think an hour could be okay. Plus,
And
we've
we
also now
already-
gotten the
Yeah.
Mentimeter kind of barometer out of the way.
Mhm.
This is now going to be more just like
flesh it
give us
out.
feedback.
And if it's in person, it could be longer because they're here. So
Right.
like it could be
Yeah.
just a 2-hour session, you know, 2-hour sessions or whatever they, you know, however they see it be feasible. But I can definitely provide this feedback, and you can too in that survey.
I do see your point, though. It did seem to go very quickly.
Quickly, yeah.
And I'm sure we all had a lot more that we could have shared.
Oh, absolutely.
We're also passionate, that's the issue.
Yeah, and
Well,
like the
yes.
plan is important to this
Yeah.
committee, so I
Right.
think we wanna make
It-
sure that we understand where it's going.
It's also important for us in conversing with them to be as concise as we can and still give as much information as possible. Okay,
All
did we
good
finish
stuff.
that?
Yep.
Any more questions on the plans in general? A lot of moving stuff happening.
What is the, can you remind me of the timeline on the kind of energy analysis and audit? Like where are we at in the process? What's the deadline or what's our kind of end date?
Right, so that funding is the Energy Innovation Grant.
That's EIGP.
Yep, so we're on their timeframe.
So are we end of this calendar year or end of
I think
calendar
we're shooting.
26?
No, I think we're shooting for like that plan to be done this summer, early fall.
Okay.
The thought process with that one specifically was like if we could get it done prior to CIP conversations, it could be implemented potentially.
Got it.
Like council's going to potentially have a difficult time with the budget this year, is what I've heard. And so
Like
they're,
they do
you
every
know,
year.
like I don't know what that means as far as doing extra things or moving monies around, but either which way, I'm sure for council members it would be nice to have that plan in place so they could see low hanging fruit if any exists.
Perfect.
So that was the thought with the timeline, was to get it done before those conversations start.
Okay.
Okay, that's what you've got. Anybody have any questions about anything else? Okay, then we'll move on to the agenda items for future meeting, which we have up there as Chapter 30 landscaping requirements, which does differ from Chapter 26. We had talked about potentially having the forester come in for that. I believe that's maybe on the schedule for a month or two down the road. And I realize that maybe you don't really have that information, Brandon.
Well, I can tell you about the 3 things that are on here.
Okay.
So the Chapter 30 landscaping requirements, Chapter 30 is the zoning code, and we have a long list from the last year. Every year we go through, and as things come up, we make notes, and we have we're on like the 7th revision of the zoning code. And so these comments for the landscaping section are just part of that overall document, right? So let's see, it's April, so like we might have all of that done by the summer. Like we have to go through the zoning code, redline all the documents. They have to go to a workshop with Plan Commission. The redlining is what takes a long time to do. So it's a lengthy process, and those updates are part of the overall zoning code update. So
When realistically does the Chapter 30, because I assume this is the native landscaping ordinance?
no, this is
Separate.
just like
It's just this is the
additional.
zone.
This is just additional, I think, plants that you want to add as species to
There's
to that.
additional.
It's
there's-
the list that's in there
to
for
the
the
native plant
landscapers.
section of the landscaping ordinance. So we
Okay.
provide a laundry list of different plants just to help developers know what's available that is native to Wisconsin. And I think the idea was to add more plants to that list.
Okay.
So yes,
In
the
the
two
last
plans
meeting-
we've been looking at the last couple of meetings.
In the last meeting, there's a pretty succinct couple of changes that we approved together that we are looking to have in that Chapter 30 that Emma took down to include.
Right. My
Yeah.
question is, what is the timeline for that being officially approved by council?
Right, we're not gonna do that as a one-off, we're gonna, because we have this long list of other things that have
Sure,
to be done in the zoning
right.
code, we'll do it all as one. And so I'm saying probably sometime in summer is when that'll be fully approved by council and everything.
Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Are we gonna get to see the list again before that? Or have we already made our recommendation on it and that's,
I don't know the answer to that question. So
Okay.
it sounds like at the last meeting, you guys had approved a list?
We made a formal motion of, I
Okay.
can't
Did we?
remember
Okay.
exactly.
So unless that changes, that will be the list.
And there's other changes too.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to add, was like, it wasn't just adding plants, there was
Oh,
other
sure.
things too.
like I said, that's just, Emma knows that it's part of our, once we have our internal meeting and talk about, everybody has notes on there, so everybody has their things on there that will get brought up when we finally have that meeting and talk about all the different things.
Okay.
Okay, the other thing that's on there is composting. So the note I have here, Lisa, you maybe have something to say about
Yes,
this?
we just want to talk about it. Brad and I want to talk about a conversation we had regarding composting with Dane County, and just explore potential partnerships in the future if that is something that we can do within the city.
Cool. Nothing else on that? And then, looks like Summers Farmers Market, as we've already talked about that, it's just staying on there in case we,
It's staying on there until we get her done.
right, okay.
Yeah.
Can we add the Wisconsin local government climate change, just any updates? We haven't talked about it in a while.
Say that one more time?
The WLGCC that we're a part of.
Yep, and what do you want to know?
Just like any updates, or I know staff has to attend meetings periodically if anything has come up from that, or resources that can be shared publicly.
Sure. The main thing that they're focusing on right now, they also received the Energy Innovation Grant with Stevens Point to do ICLEI things.
Mm-hmm.
We did participate. I initially signed up to try to be a part of it, but we haven't been able to attend some of the meetings. It's just been too busy. So
Gotcha.
there's just, and what they're doing is similar to what we're kind of doing already. So it would have been, it still might be a good thing to be a part of, and they gave us an opportunity to, they have some hours built into their funding to help us get caught up to speed if we need to. But even at this point, like there was another email that came out today, and I'm just, you don't have time to do it, so.
Sounds good.
If there are meetings that staff isn't able to attend, is there any possibility for a sustainability board member to fill in for that?
I think so. Yeah, there's other people that attend those meetings are not city staff.
There may
Same
be
thing
some
with
of us
Green
that
Tier.
would have the availability, so maybe if we knew about those, we could help out.
Okay. I will check on that.
I would be interested in signing up for that. I have availability to attend things like that.
Okay. I will let you know, Lisa.
Okay.
Yeah, I was hoping you could also add to the future agenda item, just as a running item, is that the sustainable activities and events, just so we
Oh,
keep that going.
yeah, I think that Emma had made a comment about that's something that the DEI committee does. They have something similar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The council has something similar, they just put it at the end.
Yeah.
Are there any other future agenda items anybody's thinking about?
I'd like to do a Lomo May update, like what's happening in the community, or how's that?
What
moving
kind
forward?
of communication we're having and how it's reaching people?
Yes.
I'm trying to figure out. So Emma did give me a nice long list of things here to talk about, but I don't know where these couple ones are supposed to be talked about because they're not agenda items. Okay. Well, let's add Lomo May.
Lomo.
Also, like selfishly, this has been a reoccurring thought as a resident. Is Oshkosh doesn't have like a free bulk pickup day annually, correct?
A what?
Like a free bulk pickup day, like you just put bulk waste on the side. 'Cause
You
I
can
don't-
pay to have it done at any point.
Okay.
Sometimes neighborhood associations do it. If you're in one, I don't.
And nobody wants to be in one by me.
Yeah,
So-
unfortunately, this conversation has come up before with the neighborhood associations, and the feedback we got from sanitation department when they were trying to pursue like encouraging city staff to do one day of bulk pickup was there's an option available.
There is no, or there is?
There is an option available. You just pay for it.
We do or they do?
You do. Like if you want to do a bulk pickup, there's a fee, and they'll come and pick up your bulk items.
But would it be worth having it as a agenda item to see why that is? Because I mean, like City of Appleton, they have bulk pickup like every other week for free for their residents. I just would love to hear like what's
Can-
happening and why.
Councilman-
Can you define
Cost.
bulk pickup for us, please?
It is, I was involved in this when I wasn't a council member.
Yeah.
It did directly come down to cost. I was
Yeah.
on the end of the aisle where I was trying to get this to happen.
Yeah.
And then ultimately, I think the city did a cost analysis of what it takes to bring the trucks and all around. It was ultimately voted down by that council at that point because it was cost prohibitive.
Can we have a definition, please?
All the stuff you can't put in your garbage can,
Like
like,
a couch.
mattresses, like
Okay, so it's
maybe
not-
like if you did
it's-
home projects yourself, like my old toilet. I can't put my old toilet.
Thank
in
you.
Large
I wasn't
garbage
sure if
can.
this
Large
was
and irregular.
organic
Yeah,
stuff
large and
or
irregular.
inorganic. So
again,
this is
there's a different council
inorganic.
now, so if you
Yeah.
want to venture down, bringing that topic up again, that's your prerogative.
I know the other avenue we tried to take that also did not get much traction was just if the city paid for the dumpsters and then the neighborhood associations ran the event. That, in my mind, was a super cost-effective thing because when I was chair of my neighborhood association, we did it twice, and it was probably our most well-attended event. And it cost us probably about $2,000
Yeah.
per event. And while that's not like an inconsequential amount of money, it's pretty small compared to I want to say it was like $300,000, $400,000 to do the one day. That was like the cost equivalent of staff time and stuff. So, but food for thought.
No, yeah, that's a great idea. It might be very.
So
Or
The problem with that
it'd be
is
a
only
minimal
is-
fee to put it in there, $2 versus 25 and all the other stuff,
So the bulk of the cost to host a single day is for the staff time and vehicles to collect.
I believe so. I think that was the way it was
That was-
calculated.
So there couldn't be like a. Sorry, I'm talking about it now, but now the questions are.
Yeah, that's what
popping
I'm
up.
saying. So if you want it on the next agenda, just
Sure.
that's fine. We can talk about it if you want to talk more about it.
Little brainstorming. Yeah.
Anything
Okay.
else for the next agenda? So I have bulk pickup, Lomo May, sustainable activities and events, and WLGCC updates. Do you want green tier updates as well?
I mean, just periodically. We haven't talked about the WLGCC in a while, so I just maybe like once or twice a year. It's helpful to know what's going on with that.
Okay.
Green tier is usually like a yearly thing, right? When you guys have to report.
Yeah, we have to report it, and we're working on it.
Thank you for all you and Emma do, and the rest of the staff too.
Yeah, again,
That's a
hopefully
lot.
that internal
Yeah.
team, if it get, when it gets created, we'll be able to help streamline that process.
Yes, make it much easier to
Correct.
get it all. Okay, if there's nothing else, our next meeting will be on Monday, May 5th, right here in this room. We will have already had Migratory Bird Day by then, so we can all report on how many birds we saw at 6 a.m. I can tell you right now. 0.
We'll still be checking eyelids for pinholes.
I'm pretty into mine, so I'll see some birds.
Okay, anybody would like to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?